They were an unlikely duo who were brought together by their passionate love of music. Capathia Jenkins and Rosen's new album, The Ache of Possibility, is music that's soulful, poetic, and also powerful.
Grown folks music.
That's right. That's what you call it.
That's what I call it. I think you say it best when you talk about the love songs and how it's about.
The love songs, for instance, of which on the new album there are 4 of them, but they're about people who've been around the block a couple of times.
Yeah.
They're much more about the process of a relationship and the love that's not just new love, but love that's been weathered and refined.
And through all of that, you know, people who have found a way to stay together.
And keep a sense of passion. I mean, I think that's one sense of grown folks music. I love that term. Instead of calling it adult contemporary pop, right? The genre, the Billboard genre should be grown folks music.
Capathia Jenkins and Rosen come from different sides of town. Louie from the south side of Chicago, and Capathia singing in her church choir in Brooklyn, and later on Broadway.
I was doing a Broadway show, and my musical director was David Loud, and Louis was looking for a female singer for a recording project he was working on, and David Loud recommended me. And I worked with Louis. It was the Langston Hughes piece, Dream Suite. We were working in the studio, and one day, standing outside of the studio, he said to me, you know, I think I'd like to write for you. And I thought, oh, gosh, that's great. I'm flattered. But I was thinking to myself, okay, well, whatever. You know, people say that, you never hear from them again, whatever, it's nice. And a few weeks later, he called and said, I've begun to sketch some things out. You want to come over and take a listen? And our collaboration was born.
Their newest poetic and passionate collaboration is called The Ache of Possibility.
I had the idea for that song a couple of years ago, but I didn't have the refrain, which is where the title lives, The Ache of Possibility. You have to feel that a song is worth singing, that it's worth people's time to listen before you really commit to writing it. I didn't want to write a song that was only a catalog of the frustration of the previous 8 years, but in those couple of weeks before the election, suddenly the idea that, yes, we've lived through this, but the ache of possibility seemed to be what we were all feeling.
You know, there's so much going on in the world, right? We have a new president, we have a recession.
An economic meltdown.
Exactly, which is affecting everyone, really, you know what I mean? And those songs that came out of that time, they're like electric, you know, the words, the language of them, for me, is electric, and I'm so excited to perform them and sing them and just, you know, and I know people get it because everybody's going through it at the same time. You know, it's now, it's current.
You got those used to be in the middle class blues.
You know, the one song, The Middle Class Used to Be Blues. Well, we were last fall, Capathia called me and say, you know, have you looked at your 401k lately? And I have to say to her, number one, I don't even have a 401k. But I've looked at what I have, and there's not a lot left.
And it's rough. Yeah, it's rough.
And, you know, it's to be able to kind of find a humorous but hopefully accurate take on that is, I think, it was fun for us, but also I think the audience gets a certain cathartic pleasure.
Yeah. It's so important that as musicians and creative people, we stay in tune to what's going on around us.
We have both at different times used the phrase that we found our musical soulmate.
The Ache of Possibility is available now.